Hello there, friends. Welcome back. I hope you are well. What you see before you today is a stack of Kiss bubblegum cards from 1978. A little slice of my musical childhood, I suppose you could say. And just so happens they're made of a very thick, stiff cardboard material that just so happens gives them a very satisfying sound when handling them. They're very nice. So I am going to sort these cards into piles today while talking about our subject, which I know you gathered from the title, which is the 100 subscriber milestone for this channel. It's very exciting. I'm laughing at so many things this morning, I can't even tell you. One of them is the kiss of death that would be at hand if I actually said the words. I would like to try to keep this succinct because I have poor video time management skills, and that combined with a very reflective mood will probably jinx me to failure. But I would like to try to accomplish 3 simple things in this video. One is to send out some words of thanks to a content creator who had a lot to do with helping us get to 100 subscribers. I would like to welcome all of the new subscribers and maybe just say 1 or 2 things about the channel and what I hope you will find here. But the third topic is a little harder to define. I just wanted to spend a couple of words about the journey so far, short as it has been, as a way to try to explain to you how much it means to me that you are here. And I guess on a personal note, I'd like to dedicate this video to a dear friend of mine who I attended high school with many years ago, and who also was a pretty important part of the first chapter of my young adulthood, I guess I'll say. I got word yesterday that she passed away, and she was a big Kiss fan, as I was. So this sorting through this pile goes out to her as well. So anyway, I can't start any discussion about the 100 subscriber milestone without sending out a huge thank you to a particular content creator. Of course, I'm talking about Articulate Design ASMR, and I'm trying to hold back laughter even as I'm saying this, because I thought going into this video that I was thanking him for two things, and as it turns out, in the last 12 hours or so, he gave me a third thing to thank him for. So it's hard to keep up with that guy. But anyway, as you might know, certainly if you are a new subscriber here, the last week since the unboxing video that I uploaded has been eventful for what is traditionally a pretty sleepy little channel here. Articulate Design was very kind to mention me in his 1,000 subscriber video, which he uploaded the same day that my unboxing video went up. He gave me a very kind shout out. In that video, which was appreciated, but then went on to post a discussion question on the ASMR subreddit that also referred back to my channel and linked to my unboxing video. That generated quite a bit of traffic as well, and in the, say, next 4 days since those two very kind gestures, I think we picked up something like 70 subs from the low 90s up to the low 160s, and that's just so thoughtful, so appreciated. And so that is the landscape that I thought I was working with when I was getting ready to put my 100 subscriber video together. But just here recently, he mentioned us again in the very enjoyable ASMR news video that he posted yesterday. And we picked up a little more traffic from that, such that at the time of the filming of this thank you video, we are sitting at 184 subscribers, which is exactly double the size of the channel from the day that I uploaded the unboxing video. So Articulate Design, through 3 gestures of kindness, has managed to double the size of Gaslamp ASMR. And that is just crazy. So if this is the first you are hearing of Articulate Design ASMR, please look him up on YouTube. He is an enthusiastic supporter of the community, a very creative fellow, very at ease and natural with his content. Great voice, great accent. And frankly, I'd have to say he set a great example. And in fact, I want to say that if I am ever lucky enough to get to 1,000 subs myself, I will absolutely pledge to mention something about a small ASMR channel that I'm impressed with. Somebody in the double digits of subscribers who just needs a little more exposure. When I was a kid, I think this was always my favorite shot of Gene Simmons. I thought he looked so cool in this shot. Yes, if I ever get to that point, I will absolutely call out a deserving small channel as a pay it forward kind of a gesture, because it's free. It doesn't cost us anything to be kind. And sometimes I think about this community as a bit of a ladder, and we're all climbing the ladder at our own pace. And if someone can reach back and help the next person get up the ladder a little more quickly, because it is hard to be noticed sometimes since there is so much content out there. And if you can do that with a completely free gesture, it's just goodwill. There's no downside. And I am very happy to pledge to do the same if that time ever comes for me. So, Articulate Design, thank you so much. I've said it before, I'm at your service. Please do not hesitate to let me know if there's ever anything I can do for you. So that said, welcome to all of the new subs, and hello to all of the subs who have been here before. If you came here on any of the recommendations that I just mentioned and you have found something here that is satisfying or compelling or connects with you in any way, I deeply appreciate it. This is a pretty personal project for me, and as such, anytime I discover that something so personal that came out of just I guess a deep creative itch that needed to be scratched. What I tend to call a closet creative. That's how I see myself. Anything that comes out of that place, but then also has any sort of resonance with anybody else, I just think that's an absolute blessing, and I appreciate you being here. It really means a lot. Please do not hesitate to speak up and offer some feedback in the comments. I love engaging with any of you that have something to say about anything that I've said or anything I've done here. Frankly, for this kind of content, I think one of the best uses of the comment section is to continue the discussion. If I've presented anything here that strikes a chord with you, reminds you of something, if you share an opinion or have a counter opinion, please do not hesitate to speak up. Just in the last week and a half, or however long it's been, the comment section have been quite a bit more active, and so I appreciate all of the new subscribers who have jumped right in and given positive feedback and offered some stories of your own. I think that's a fantastic thing, and I appreciate you helping to make the overall channel experience better for everybody because of your comments and your feedback. I really appreciate that. That makes the entire experience, in my view, more organic. It's not just me putting stuff out there. You providing that feedback is closing the loop, creating the connection, the two-way communication. And thank you. Please keep doing that. I will acknowledge that it took this channel about 5 months to hit the 100 subscriber milestone, and I wanted to say a couple of things about that, just on a personal note, because milestones mean different things to different people. And I think we get wrapped up a lot of times in the sizes of things, particularly in this big, interconnected social world. But to me, it really comes down to journeys. That 100 subscriber milestone. Milestone is just another word for a destination. And I can't think of destinations without thinking of journeys. I think a journey is what gives a destination or a milestone its meaning. The longer the journey, the more fraught with challenge or obstacles a journey has, the more meaningful the destination is. But the other thing about the human experience, many times I've observed, is that once we get to what we thought the destination was, we discover that it's not quite the destination we had our sights set on after all. And so we slightly redefine our goal, redefine our vision for what we're looking for, and we're back on the journey again. To the point that I think it's safe to say that as humans we spend much more time on journeys to places than we spend at destinations. Which means we had better have a way to extract meaning and value from those journeys that we spend so much time on, lest we run the danger of all that time being wasted. And life is much too short for that. So if you'll let me try to just say a few words as I'm laughing about this journey, the gas lamp journey so far, and why it's so meaningful that you're here. I uploaded the first video to this channel back in August, but the journey, how I measure it, goes back farther to last summer. And I've been listening to, or I've been watching content for years, and I just started feeling that tug, that creative pull that was leading me in the direction, making me ask the question, is this something that I could do? I feel like I want to try to be creative in this kind of a space. But I want to let you in on a dark secret of the kind of self-critical mind that unfortunately I have. And I'm embarrassed by this, but it's part of the journey. So you're here after 5 months, so I figure I can talk about it. I found that I could not even start the process of trying to figure out how to conceptualize the very first video I wanted to do without getting past a question first. This was the other Gene Simmons picture that I really liked. He's the reason I play bass today. I couldn't even get off the starting line without answering the question, what did I think I could possibly offer the community? What gap did I think needed to be filled that wasn't already being covered by wonderful, wonderful content creators who have been at this for 5 or 6 years and were masters of their craft? That's what I ask myself. And I admit that is not a very constructive way to start a creative project. But that's the way my brain works, sadly. One side of me felt very drawn to this kind of creative space, but the other part of me thought it was the height of presumption. Me? What did I have to say that would help trigger any ASMR or relax anybody? It seemed like everything was already being covered. And the truth is, I never found an answer to that question. I never came up with an answer that was good enough, that I felt gave me permission to go ahead and give this a try. And if I didn't figure out a way to turn that question around, I would have exactly 0 subs right now instead of 184, because this channel wouldn't exist. But for better or worse, I turned the question around. And instead of thinking about the community as an audience, I flipped it around and made me the audience. Not from a consumer of the content point of view, but as the person who is doing something creative for enjoyment point of view. Meaning, if I was going to do this, what did I need from it in order to continue to do it? That sounds a little selfish on its surface, but I thought, why would I think of this kind of creativity any differently from a creative outlet like painting? Now, I don't paint, but what if I did? What if I painted for enjoyment? Maybe that was my thing. what would be the aspects of painting that would draw me to that hobby and keep me doing it? Well, I assume that the process of thinking up something to paint would be a big part of it. There's the technique, there's the process of learning how to translate that vision to a canvas and to hopefully do a better job at this painting than the last painting. I assume these would all be aspects of why I would paint. It makes sense to me. The salient point about that is what I left out. Because I didn't say that part of my enjoyment from creating a painting is then taking it out of the house and showing it to 184 people, right? Something about a personal creative project, a hobby like that, is that it's not really connected to an audience. The enjoyment comes from doing it in the first place. Being personally creative and then doing it again and again and hopefully getting better at it and hopefully enjoying it that much more. And I realized that's the way I needed to approach this channel, at least to start with, to get me out of the gate. It's a little embarrassing to say, to talk about out loud, because it sounds very selfish. It's the opposite of what you see on a lot of channels, a lot of new channels that say, I've watched ASMR for a long time and I finally want to give back. And I think that's beautiful. I love the altruism attached to that. And I'm embarrassed that in order to start this channel, I actually had to say the opposite. I needed to think about how I would approach this as a personal, creative project, regardless of whether anyone else in the world saw any of this. And so if I did paint as a hobby, and a friend came over one day and saw one of my paintings on the wall and said, "Wow, that's really nice. Did you do that? I love what you did with that painting. That's great technique. It's really evocative. It really puts me in that space. Good job. Could you let me know the next time you do a painting? I'd really like to see the next one." If a friend came over and gave you that kind of feedback on a painting, that'd be amazing, right? That'd be a real blessing. I mean, we're all humans. We like to be accepted. We like to know that our efforts out there are worthy. There's nothing wrong with that. That's, I guess, in a sense, what the channel part of this is all about. The creative part is thinking up these environments, these sound explorations, or these rambles, and creating an environment, a hopefully triggering environment, a hopefully relaxing environment, and then putting that out there into the world is like, and getting subs is like 184 friends visiting the house and seeing the painting on the wall. And that's what I'm talking about. That's my long-winded way of explaining why this is meaningful. because I'm doing something here that is frankly way more personal than I thought it would be. I know I'm not sitting here giving out personal details necessarily, but I've found that the things I say are slices of me, and this creative venture to create these atmospheres, these environments, much more personal than I originally anticipated. And for anybody to stumble across this and see something interesting enough to hit sub, to say, I want to pay attention to this. I want to look over this guy's shoulder and see what happens next. That is, well, that's hard to describe. But it's why it means so much that you're here. And so thank you. Thank you so much for your interest, for your participation. It makes the entire experience better than I could have hoped. Three or four videos into this journey, a secondary thought started to come into my head. Let me give you a small bit of family history as context as we continue to look at the late 70s photographic exploits of Kiss. My grandfather, on my father's side, passed away from complications from a surgical procedure, ether pneumonia. But he passed away before my father was born. Let me say that again. My grandfather, on my father's side, passed away before my dad was born. So my father never met his dad. My father's in his 80s now. And it occurs to me now that I'm an adult, I'm a lot more interested in gaining a better awareness of the various threads that have been woven together to create me. I'm not a genealogist by any means, and I'm not really a facts and figures kind of guy. I don't need to know where my grandfather went to school or anything like this, but it occurs to me now as an adult that if there was a button I could push somewhere, or an old tape that I could find and put in a tape player that would let me hear even a minute of my grandfather's voice talking about anything, frankly, the weather. It would go such a long way to understanding a little bit of his character, his manner, how he talked to people. Did he talk fast? Did he talk slow? Is it a high voice? Is it a low voice? You can hear stress or ease or nervousness or joy in a voice. And just to be able to listen to that for just 60 seconds to get some measure of his manner, would be so valuable, so precious to me. And it occurred to me 3 or 4 videos into this process, once I started to get a sense of the kinds of things I was talking about, that maybe part of the audience for these things isn't what I initially anticipated at all. Maybe part of this audience hasn't even been born yet. I have 2 children, and not to be too presumptuous, but possibly they might have children someday. But it's possible that I may never meet my grandchildren. We don't know what the world has in store for us. Or it's possible that perhaps I'll meet them, but our lives on this planet will not overlap enough to allow them to remember much about me when they are grown. And I wonder, would it be valuable to them someday if they were wondering about me, what I was like? And to answer that question, someone was able to dig out a disc or whatever media they'd be using. A disc with all of the videos that I've done for this channel. Would that be valuable? Would that be a way that someone way downstream of me on this journey might get a sense of my manner, of my character, the things I thought were valuable? Maybe so. It's way too deep, I think. But it crossed my mind. And I think at some subconscious level, maybe that influences a little bit the kind of ideas I want to make videos of here. The kind of things I want to talk about, the kind of things I want to explore. Even on a complete sound exploration video where I don't say a word. Maybe the things I decide to explore still says something about me that I might want a descendant to know. Who knows? These are almost the same picture, aren't they? These really are great sounds. So it's the journey. It's the journey that attaches the value to the destination. And that's why it means something to me that you're here. 184 subs after 5 months. it's tempting to say, that's pretty slow, or that's pretty small. I know there are plenty of reasons, but while the number isn't 1,000 or 10,000 or 850,000, that's not how I think of it. The more I do this, the less apt I am to compare numbers in that way. If I'm going to compare anything, frankly, at this point, I'm starting to wonder whether the ultimate audience, the size of the final audience of any of this work, might be a very, very small number indeed. Maybe it turns out to be as small as one young man or one young woman who finally notices a picture of me on the wall of the house they grew up in, a picture they always ignored or took for granted. A person who finally looks to their mom or their dad and asks the question, what was Grandpa like? Thank you so much for being here. All 184 of you, and whoever is waiting in the hallway to come in through the door behind you. You all mean a lot to me, and I appreciate you being here. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Smile every day. And do good work. And I can't wait to see you in the next video. Bye-bye, everybody.